Hey, what's going on everybody out there? I'm Jakejames Lugo and welcome to the channel. So I'm back from E3 2017. I know it's been a little while since I've gotten back and since the show's been over, but there's been a bunch of stuff that's been happening and I've been immersed in a huge amount of work that I've had to get done ever since I got back from E3. There was a lot of stuff that happened over there. There was a lot of games that I saw. So I've been posting up a lot of content over on thecoalition.com. There'll be links in the description box below to some of the things I've been posting up, as well as some of the podcasts I've been doing since I got back. It's a bunch of stuff I know a lot of you guys are going to enjoy. But now that I'm back, let's actually have an open discussion about E3 2017. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of some insight to my experience that I had while I was out there in LA. I was there for a long time, since Saturday to about Friday. But also, let's talk about the show and how it's going to be changing in future years down the line, possibly for next year, if there's anything that kind of gets adjusted or whatnot. Because a lot of people have been talking about E3 2017 and just how exactly the public affected the show overall. But let me give you some of my insight from the show floor itself, because I was actually there and I was in the trenches with a lot of people. As games media, I know that a lot of people have talked about how, different appointments and stuff that you get with publishers really kind of doesn't really affect or isn't affected by the public going to the show this year around. But I want to offer a different perspective on everything and tell you guys my experience of what happened. So, while I was there at E3 again, I got there a little bit earlier before the actual show proper. So, a lot of you guys that were there in the public, attendees that were actually going to E3, I was there about 3 or 4 days earlier prior to. I was there since Saturday, so about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so about 3 to 4 days earlier. And I was able to attend all the conferences, I was able to check out the showroom floor and check out some of the events that were happening off-site. But overall, did the public attendance really affect the show overall? And I have to be totally honest with you guys, yeah, it did. I know there's been a lot of different media outlets and a lot of different public figures and influencers that have been talking about the show and saying that it really wasn't like that per se. Depending on what you actually did here and there was the different type of experience you were going to get as a games media person. But for me, being able to kind of immerse myself in both sides of the equation and actually see everything from all facets and all perspectives, I could really say that definitely the ESA wasn't really prepared for what was going down with the public this year around. Again, 15,000 plus extra people that are actually attending the show that are regular attendees and not games media people or not industry people, developers and different types of stock people and stuff like that you would normally get at this show. It really overblew the show in and of itself. There was a lot of bodies in that building and it was very hard to maneuver around. A lot of people, both on YouTube and in other websites, have talked about how it was very difficult getting from one place to another. I could definitely confirm that. It was really, really kind of, jam-packed with bodies that were in there. And just trying to walk through the South Hall or the West Hall to get from one booth to another, especially when you had an appointment, was increasingly difficult, especially early on in the day for each one of the days of E3, both Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Some people said that it died down towards the later half of Wednesday and Thursday just in its entirety. I can say that's definitely not true. There's definitely a lot of people that were still there all over the place. Everybody that was going as an attendee this year, part of the public, was really going to get the most out of their E3, especially when you paid $250 plus for a ticket just to be there. And the reason why so many people were just, again, taking up the aisles and really filling up the entire area was because of the lines. The lines at all the booths were really, really long. I can confirm this. I remember going to an appointment for Bandai Namco and trying to get through all the different lines of people that were just there, going from one end of the entrance all the way to where the Bandai Namco booth was. And even when I got there, it was just so jam-packed. It was very hard to just get around some of the people, just so I could get to the center area where all the media and just industry people were there for their appointments. Once I got there, things were a little bit more cleared up because obviously there's not as many people that are going to go in that section. But around the booth, around all the spectacle and everything else, it looked like a San Diego Comic-Con. That's the best comparison that I could kind of, make it stand next to, is that it was like a crazy PAX event or a San Diego Comic-Con. And I guess that's what the ESA and a lot of people were hoping it was going to be like this year, as far as being prepared and the way that it was organized. But clearly the ESA just didn't have everything in place to make it, work like that. The one thing about PAX I can say, having gone to a bunch of PAX East shows, is that they really have a good handling on how big of a crowd they're going to get. So not only are they able to accommodate the media and the industry people that maybe have booths there or just there, for different types of meetings and business type of stuff there, but they also have the ability to kind of separate them from the crazy crowd, so that way they could still go and do their business and to get their work done and still be able to have a huge focus on the crowd itself that are just public attendees. And I feel like next year, if not the year afterwards, hopefully the ESA gets a better handling on that. They kind of have a good game plan in place, not only to kind of direct the crazy lines that were there, because fun fact, right, I want to bring this up because this was actually covered in a bunch of outlets. The first day of E3, that Tuesday, they opened up the show about 15 to 20 minutes early because the line was so big, it stretched all the way outside into the street, or at least they were getting close to the street. And I remember that the fire department guy was like walking around. There was a bunch of fire department people, and they were worried that it was going to be a huge fire hazard, especially if something went wrong. And everybody was kind of on edge during that first day. When the doors opened on that Tuesday, it was pandemonium. People were just running like crazy to the booths that were there, you know, to Nintendo, to PlayStation, even to Xbox on the opposite side over in the West Hall. Or I always get them mixed up, the West Hall and the South Hall, but the section where Xbox was, they were on the opposite side this year. And no matter where you went, the crowds were just crazy. But as soon as those doors opened, everybody rushed to wherever they were going to go to, especially the Nintendo crowd. A lot of people were insanely crazy and, rabid. That's the best way I could put it, especially with the Rabbids game coming out soon. But they were rabid just to get hands-on time with Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I'm all down for getting to where you need to go. That's exactly how Comic-Con is sometimes, but they're a little bit much more kind of like organized about that, and they got a better handling on that crowd. But people were absolutely going nuts trying to run over there, and I almost got trampled on that third day. Believe it or not, I got almost knocked over on that final day. I believe it was Thursday when the doors opened up. I was standing on the side with the rest of the crowds, you know, trying to get into the same hall where IGN, Nintendo, Atlas, and PlayStation were at. And as soon as those doors opened, rather than letting the press go in first that were here on the side, they were just putting all the press on this side for whatever reason, and all the attendees on this side. So all the press went in at the same time with the regular attendees. They just opened up at the horde gates for everybody there. Everybody was just being pushed forward, and everybody was just like knocking everybody to the side and stuff. And I got knocked over to the side next to the door, was it the door entrance that was there. And funny enough, right, and this one really pissed me off, one of the fire department guys that was there, rather than just kind of like make sure I was okay and make sure that I was like all good, you know, because again, I'm like tripping, I almost fell down. He's over here screaming at me and another guy that's there to get away from the doors. Like, rather than just him looking at me, seeing me trip over and stuff, he's like, get away from the doors, just get the hell away from the doors. You know, being really rude. And I'm looking at him like, what the hell? Like, God, dude, you just saw me just coming through these doors with this crowd, and I'm almost falling over to the ground. Don't you think you could make sure I'm like okay first, then tell me, you know, to get away from the doors? I would have been totally cool with that. But like, that was the type of attitude you saw from a lot of people, especially guys that weren't really working the actual event itself, the show itself, that were again just brought in probably last minute to control the crowds. Everybody was on edge there. But once things kind of got moving, and once things kind of like started flowing, and everybody was in their respective spots, and everybody was going to where they needed to go, the show itself was overall pretty great, to be honest with you. I really had a fun time. It was very tough getting from place to place for my appointments for different games, but once I was there, I was able to talk to PR, I was able to do my job like most people were there to do. It was still fun to be at E3 this year. Again, it's always fun to go to E3, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys out there that probably went to the show last week were able to experience it in some capacity. It's definitely not the same experience, because you're definitely not going to get the same experience as most of us do in the industry when you're going as a public attendee, but it's still fun to have that level of excitement and kind of like, you know, energy in the room when there's a bunch of like brand new games that haven't been released to the public yet, or not available in stores, or not available to the public, and they're within their early phases, and everybody's really excited about that. That was pretty awesome. You felt that way in all the conferences. I went to almost all the conferences this year, with the exception of the PC conference and Bethesda. But I was at Microsoft, I was at PlayStation, I was at Ubisoft. It was a lot of fun being at all those events. Fun fact though, right behind us during the Ubisoft conference, Miyamoto came out with the Bullet Bill Blaster, and that was pretty damn awesome. It was great seeing him there during the course of the actual show. I actually saw Bill Trent right before the Ubisoft event. I didn't get a chance to go up to him and say hi, but I recognized him. I'm like, you know what, let me let the man do him, because he's probably going to get a ton of people coming up and bothering him or whatnot. He was over there just eating some food all alone, like all sad in like a little island on a table and stuff. So I didn't want to disturb the man from having his peace of mind, because I'm pretty sure throughout the rest of E3 he got a whole bunch of people bothering him. But it was cool to see him nonetheless. Maybe next year I'll go over and say, hey, what's up to him. But with that being said though, what are some of the games that I actually got to see and actually play there? I've talked about this a couple times in various different podcasts on thecoalition.com. Again, there'll be links in the description box below for the specific stuff I mentioned, as well as some of the previews that I wrote up for the Coalition, both in written form, in video form, as well as also in podcast form. There's going to be a lot of stuff for you guys in the description box, so I encourage you to check it all out. But just to name a few of the games that I played, I definitely got a chance to play Dragon Ball FighterZ Z, or Dragon Ball FighterZ, or whatever they're calling it. The DBZ game that's coming out from Bandai Namco and Arc System Works. That's probably one of the big sleeper hits of the show that everybody unanimously enjoyed. It looks great, it plays great, it feels phenomenal just to control the characters. It feels like a Guilty Gear game, but on steroids. That's going to be a hell of a game when it finally comes out. I believe it's coming out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. They have like a release window for it. But from what I played in that demo, I'm all in. That's going to be awesome. Besides that, I also got a chance to play Ace Combat in PlayStation VR. That was really surreal. There was a big sense of vertigo there that, you know, again, while you're flying the fighter jet, it was pretty awesome just to experience that in VR. You don't get that same experience when you're playing it normally with a controller in hand on your TV. So that was pretty cool to check out. But also, I got a chance to check out some of the other games that were there, including Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite over at the Capcom booth. That game was fun. The demo that we got, the story demo that we got on PlayStation 4, nowhere near does that game justice. When you're actually playing it against another human, it is a lot more fun than what it actually is in that story demo. I don't know why they released that, rather than just allow us to play the game online and actually do some sort of, like, again, either local play or test up the game's online servers, because that game's coming out fairly soon. So it would be much more beneficial to them to make that game look as good as it can be, rather than just have this disparaging experience between people that were at E3 and people that weren't. But overall, from what I played at the show, I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was pretty cool. Now, besides that, you're probably going to see a video link in the description box below to my time with Crash Bandicoot The Insane Trilogy. I'm hoping that I get this game very soon. I've reached out to Activision and Vicarious Visions about reviewing it here on thecoalition.com. I can't wait to play this. I got a whole video preview. I played about, I want to say about 30 to 45 minutes of the game, you know, in various different levels and stuff, and I talked with the producers of the game for Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and I'm liking what I see. As a Crash 2 fan, I grew up with Crash 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 1. What they're doing with this game, or just what they're doing with this trilogy, is really awesome. There's a lot to love here, especially if you're a Crash Bandicoot fan. There's a lot of love that went into this project, but a lot of the little details, not only the stuff and the secrets that we know and love from the original releases, but stuff that's kind of been like exaggerated, stuff that's been enhanced, and not just the graphical capabilities, but also the music and a bunch of other little things thrown in here and there. If you haven't checked it out yet, again, check the description box below for my video preview over on the Coalition. There's a lot of stuff to check out that you guys are definitely going to enjoy. Now, I played a bunch of other games that, again, I'm just not going to have enough time to list on here on this video. I got a chance to play Dauntless, which I have a video preview coming up very, very soon for that game. I got a chance to play MXM, which is called Master Cross Master, over from the guys at NCSoft. They allowed me to go over there and actually check out the game with them. And it's very fun, especially if you like Diablo-style games on PC, or if you like arena-style games, again, PvP-style format, or even PvE with your friends on PC. I think that game is going to be pretty interesting, and I know a lot of you guys that do play on the PC that love that style of game are going to have a lot of fun with it. Now, again, bunch of other games I'm just kind of skipping over. Again, I got a chance to check out a presentation for Monster Hunter World on PlayStation 4. That game is awesome. It looks freaking awesome. The guy that was doing the presentation for us actually played the game in front of us, and I can tell you right now, a bunch of friends of mine that are big Monster Hunter fans are going to love this game. I cannot wait to get hands-on time with it eventually. It looks pretty damn freaking cool. A couple other announcements that I want to touch on that I saw during the show that really got me excited. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. You guys know, if you've been following the channel for a very long time, I am a huge fan of Ori and the Blind Forest. I followed that game ever since before it was released at one of my first few E3 shows, and I love that it's getting a sequel. I cannot wait to play that game when it finally comes out eventually on Xbox One. That's going to look gorgeous on my 1080p TV, but I'm pretty sure it's going to look even more gorgeous in 4K. That game is going to be freaking awesome. I cannot wait. But anyway, that's just a few things. Again, I'm going to be talking about more of the games that I saw at E3 2017 on thecoalition.com on the co-op podcast that's coming up this weekend. So right now, again, it's after E3. I'm recording this on a Friday, so I think we're recording the show on a Sunday. But once that's live, you'll see another description. Was it a link in the description box? I'm a little tongue twisted. You'll see another link in the description box below to all that stuff. Again, there's going to be a lot of links there for you guys to check out. But overall, let me summarize E3 2017 with this. the show and the times, about, the game industry and everything around the show are changing. And it's obvious that the show is going to change in of itself, because not only do they still need to remain relevant and they still need to remain important to the games industry, but they do have a lot of work to get to that point where they could still be the biggest gaming event here in the United States. I think that letting the public in is totally fine. I'm totally cool with that. I talked about it many times, and I even kind of vented a little bit about it on one of the previous co-op podcasts that we recorded live from E3. But one of the things that myself and a bunch of other people out there really kind of want to hammer the point into the ESA is that while it's cool to have the public in there, it really only becomes a problem when all of us can't do our jobs. When all of us, in the games media, whether we're part of bigger websites or the smaller websites, or even right in the middle in between, when we're not able to get to our appointments, when we're not able to kind of speak to the PR in the same fashion which we're accustomed to speaking to, or when we're not able to just do what we need to get done for our audiences that are out there, that's when it becomes a problem. And while it doesn't matter how many people you let into the show here or there, how many days you have for the show, whether you increase it or just set aside, specific days for either press, media, industry, or the public like that, what needs to be done and what needs to be emphasized is this idea of compromise. Everybody could still have theirs. Everybody could still enjoy the show. Everybody could still get their work done. Everybody could still be a part of E3. But there needs to be a balance with it. You can't just cater to one side or the other, especially when one side has been going to this and doing their thing for so long, and the other one is, again, you want to attract that group of people, not only to keep your show alive, but also to keep the excitement flowing and bring E3 to the people like we've always wanted to do, what we've done in the media and stuff. Compromise. That's the big word that we need to kind of send over to the ESA, whether it's on Twitter and other forms of social media. Let them know. Compromise. Cater to both worlds. Cater to both worlds so that way we can have a better E3 show, hopefully, in 2018. But either way, guys, that's just my thoughts on E3 2017. Those are my post-mortem afterthoughts and some of my reactions and experiences that I had while I was at E3. I have to send a big thank you to all the people that I saw out there at E3, all my good friends. Lady Pelvic, was it Hip Hop Gamer, Luge PS3, which is on YouTube. I saw Austin Creed out there from Up Up Down Down. It was pretty cool to see you there. A whole bunch of other people from Mixer that I met while I was out there. A bunch of people also from Machinima. A bunch of people also, my friends the Keykeepers, HMK, Skyward Wing, Sorala One, all the boys that are hanging out there. I met a bunch of other cool people from various different websites, especially at IGN. I saw Fran Marabella there. I saw Per Schneider. I saw Samuel Claiborne. Whole bunch of people, Miranda Sanchez, Damon Hatfield, Brian Altano, Max Scoville. Again, the list is endless. You guys made my E3 2017 an amazing time. It was great going to your guys' community event, which was also cool. I went to the IGN community event, which, by the way, I'll have a link in the description box below. I was on their live stream for IGN during their community event. I was one of the first people in line for it, and I was able to get on there and actually just chat it up with Max and Brian and just go in there and have fun with everybody. It was really, really cool to be out there. But that's going to be in the description box below. And as well as, again, all the other people that I saw Malik Forte, I saw a bunch of the people from Nerdist, Samantha, Eddie, all those good people, all the PR people that were super helpful during E3 2017. You guys were awesome. I know you guys probably had a hell of a time doing your jobs, not only dealing with my pain in the ass, but dealing with all the other pain in the asses that were coming into the show. So big ups to you guys, big ups to all of you for the patience and the help that you provided everybody during the show, whether it was me, games media people, or public attendees. It was really awesome. But overall, thank you to everybody that I saw at E3 2017. Tongue twisted, man. Big ups to everybody I saw at E3 2017. Huge thank you and huge congrats to all the people that worked during the event and stuff. And hopefully I will see you guys again next year, because I definitely plan on going to E3 2018. Who knows what will happen between now and then. But either way, guys, I will be back again with another vlog tomorrow, more than likely, after I do some more work post E3. It's still happening. I know everybody's getting ready for Comic-Con, but luckily I get to rest up this time around. So I will talk to all you guys again real soon. Peace out. Stay epic, everybody.